Hi, I'm Andrea. I'm going to demonstrate my favorite new bread recipe for you. Homemade bread lacks the additives of commercially produced bread, turning it hard and stale quickly. But Shokupan, the soft, fluffy loaf from Japan, is different. Let me show you. We'll start by making the Yudane, which is the key to this bread's fluffy texture and extended shelf life. Mix 3/4 of a cup of bread flour and 1/2 cup of boiling water in the bowl of a stand mixer to form a rough but uniform dough. When the dough is cool enough to handle, lightly grease your hands and tear the Yudane into roughly 1-inch pieces. Now add 1 1/4 cups of cold milk to the mixer bowl and stir to combine. The mixture will stay lumpy. This step is just to warm up the milk while also cooling down the Yudane, so both are a little bit more yeast friendly. Add 2 2/3 cups of bread flour and 2 teaspoons of instant or rapid rise yeast. Attach the dough hook and mix on low speed until all the flour is moistened. 1 to 2 minutes. Now let that stand for 15 minutes so the flour can hydrate and the gluten structure can begin to form. Add 2 tablespoons of sugar and 1 1/2 teaspoons of table salt and mix on medium-low speed for 10 minutes, scraping down the bowl and dough hook halfway through mixing. While the mixer runs, add 2 tablespoons of softened, unsalted butter. Continue to mix on medium-low, scraping down the dough hook and sides of the bowl if necessary, until the dough clears the sides of the bowl, 5 to 10 minutes more. I know, it's a lot of mixing, but that gluten that we're building is an important part of this dough structure. Transfer the dough to a lightly oiled counter. Then knead briefly to form a ball and transfer it seam side down to a lightly greased bowl. Cover the bowl, I like to use a shower cap to save on plastic wrap, and let the dough rise until it's almost doubled in volume, about 1 hour. Hold on to your plastic wrap. We're going to use it again. Divide the dough into 4 equal portions. Shape one portion into a ball and place it seam side down on the counter. Then repeat that process with the remaining dough portions. Cover them and let them rest for 15 minutes. Lightly oil the counter, your hands, and a rolling pin. Turn one dough ball seam side up on the counter and press and pat it to about a 5-inch square. Using a rolling pin, roll the dough into about a 7-inch square. The objective here is to remove all the air bubbles you can. Fold the dough lengthwise into thirds to form a 7-inch strip. Then roll it to a 9 by 3-inch strip. It's totally fine if it's a little longer. Starting on the short side, roll the dough to form a snug cylinder and pinch the seam to seal. Place the seam side down on the counter. All of the stretching and folding and rolling is building strength in our loaf. Repeat with the remaining dough portions. It's important to use the right size pan here. If you're using our favorite 13 by 4 by 4-inch Pullman pan, there's no need to grease it. But if you're using another brand, check the manufacturer's instructions and grease it if necessary. Place one cylinder seam side down in one end of the prepared pan, with the spirals facing the long sides of the pan. Repeat with the remaining dough portions, spacing the cylinders evenly in the pan. Slide the lid into place, leaving the last inch of the dough exposed so you can monitor the rise. Cover the gap with plastic and let the loaf rise until the dough is 1/2 inch from the top edge of the pan, 60 to 75 minutes. Remove the plastic and slide the lid closed. Adjust the oven rack to the middle position and heat the oven to 375 degrees. Please don't be tempted to heat your oven ahead of time. I've designed the recipe so that the loaf can finish expanding into the top and corners of the pan while the oven heats. And if you jump the gun, you won't get that really satisfying blocky shape. Bake until the bread registers 195 to 200 degrees, 30 to 35 minutes. Remove the lid and invert the bread onto a wire cooling rack. This is my favorite part. It's so satisfying. Reinvert the loaf. Allow your shokupan to cool completely for at least 3 hours. The crumb is really delicate, so if you try to slice it before the crumb sets, it'll just squish under the pressure of the knife. Slice the loaf with a serrated bread knife, sawing gently and using very little downward pressure. Look how soft and fluffy. I defy you not to eat all of this loaf on the day you make it, but if you manage to save some for later, store the loaf at room temperature in a Ziploc bag for up to 3 days. If you give this recipe a try, I hope you'll love it as much as I do. Please leave a comment and let me know how it went for you.